welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and a puzzle called 10 Lines by none other than Zetamath. And when I just got sent this puzzle, I was like, but there are 11 lines. And I think there are 11 lines. But I've had a quick scan of the rules and I now understand what's going on. We have to fill these 11 lines with sort of digits that sum to 10 in a slightly strange way. But I'll read you the rules of this one in a moment. Apparently it's absolutely magnificent. We've had this recommended to us countless times over the last couple of weeks. So we're in, as always, for a treat. Now, my first job today, though, before we get onto Zetamath's puzzle, is to say sorry to 5-year-old Sagan, whose birthday it was yesterday. And Sagan, I'm very sorry, but my diary system let me down and I didn't say happy birthday to you. So I'm here to correct that today. I hope you had a brilliant day. I hope you had a massive cake, and I hope you got to watch Monsters Inc., which is my favourite film of that sort of genre. Anyway, sorry about that, Sagan, and yeah, sincerely, I hope you had a great day over there in Kansas. Now, I do have a couple of other things to mention actually today, which are the following. You've got 1 day left to get your answers in to the competition we've got running over on Patreon. This is the April monthly reward. And I think we're going to put the video solutions out for that very soon. So 4 o'clock tomorrow is the deadline if you want to be in with a chance of winning a Bubbery's U key. Now, the next bit of news for our patrons is quite, it's brilliant, to be honest. We have a very special competition coming up later this week involving this constructor Qinlux. Now, Qinlux has put together an incredibly good set of puzzles, all themed around build your own sudokus. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that Qinlux has sort of been majoring on this theme for a while. Build your own killer sudoku, build your own arrow sudoku. Well, we've got a whole suite of these and one leads on to the other. They are hard, though. They are hard and so clever. So this is going to be a bit different from our monthly rewards in recent months. Monthly rewards in recent months we've been trying to make much more approachable. And I think you've all been enjoying that because we have had literally thousands of correct entries to those. This one, I'm not expecting to get thousands of entries, but I can tell you that any one of these puzzles that any of you manage to complete, you will adore. And if any of you can get through all of them, and there are quite some in the pack, very well done indeed, and there will be a prize, certainly for the first correct solution we receive, but we'll also do a prize where we draw all correct solutions out of a hat. So there'll be more things to win over on Patreon. If you're not a patron, do consider it. It supports the channel, and that's what keeps us going, frankly. Now, anything else to mention? I don't think so. Let's get on with this puzzle. I've got a feeling, there's a nagging feeling in my brain I'm forgetting something else, but I do know it's no one else's birthday. I have nothing in my diary today, so hopefully I'm not letting anybody down. The rules of Zetamath's puzzle are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each line consists of one or more contiguous groups of cells, each of which sums to 10. These groups of cells cannot overlap. Digits may repeat freely on lines and even within sums. For example, 2, 3, 5, 7, 3 would be a valid fill for a length 5 line. In fact, why don't we just put this into this line? 2, 3, 5, 7, 3 would be a valid fill for a length 5 line because we may divide it as 2, 3, 5. So those 3 cells would add up to 10. Oh, I see, and those would add up to 10 as well. Right, okay, so I sort of understand that. So we just have to make sure along these lines, connected cells, neighbouring cells, can always be divided up into things that add up to 10. That's the way I'm going to think about it. Do have a go. I don't know how hard this is, by the way, which is probably an error. You'll have to judge from the length of the video, but do have a go. Zetamath's puzzles are always an absolute treat, so yeah, do try and find the time. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking, and I'm tempted to stay with this line here. we can say, I think, that this line altogether must sum up to 20, can't we? Because we can't put 10 in any individual Sudoku cell, we need at least 2 cells to make up a sequence of digits that sum to 10. So, and 2 would be the minimum. So if I have 2 there and then 2 there, this one would stick out and couldn't be a 10 on its own. So this line adds up to 20 and consists of a domino, which could be here or here, that adds up to 10, and then a triomino, which could be here or here, which also adds up to 10. And that tells us, now, the secret might come in handy here, I think. Well, the secret is something I only tell my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you are, of course, among those people. Now, the secret is that any complete row, any complete column, or indeed any complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. Now, if you add up the digits 1 to 9, you get 45. And so if I know this whole box adds to 45, but I know those cells add up to 20, I know that this 2 by 2 here sums to 25. And all of those cells are on this little line, which now looks like, and it's got to add up to a number that's mod 10, doesn't it? So it's either adding up to 30 or 40, which means these two squares either add up to 5 or 15. And they don't add up to 15, because if they did, and this line added up to 40, we haven't got enough dominoes that we can do. We can do a 10 there, a 10 there, and a 10 there, and that only adds up to 30. So this does add up to 30. These two squares add up to 5. And I'm tempted to colour this actually, because we know that this line adds up to 30. I know those two squares must add up to 10. I know these two squares must add up to 10, and I know those two squares must add up to 10. And now I know that these two squares must add up to 15, because if these two add up to 5 and those 4 add up to 20, I can do the maths. That's got to be, these two have to add up to 15, and they're either 6, 9 or 7, 8. And that means that we can oh, hang on. I was about to say something wrong then, but it would have been right. Okay, this is really cool. So this little line here, this L tetromino, until these were a 1, 2, 3, 4, that line could have had 1, 2, 3, 4 on it and added up to 10, and that would have been legitimate. But obviously that can't work now, because then we'd have a definite repeated digit in box 2. We'd have 6 cells that we were selecting only 4 different digits from, and that won't work. So this is not right. So it's not a single sequence of digits adding up to 10, so it must be 2 dominoes adding up to 20, mustn't it? Because there's no way, yeah, we need at least 2 cells to add up to 10, and we can't have 4 cells here, so we're going to have to divide it into 2 dominoes. So let's colour that one in. That's got to be a colour, that's got to be a colour. So now, oh yeah, I see. Right, that's beautiful. That is really clever actually. So now where does that digit go in box 2? Because this digit, which is the 10 counterpart of this digit, is not possible to go into those cells. I obviously can't put this digit into purple or yellow, because the moment I do that, if I made this, let's say this was a 6, if I make that a 6 and I make that a 6, well that's a 4, because we know those two add up to 10, so that needs to be a 4, and we're going to get repeated digits, so that won't work. So where does this digit go in, whoopsie, in this box? Well, it can't go in purple or yellow, it can't go in those two squares, and it can't go in those, so it goes there. So that is a 6, 7, 8, 9, and these are the same, which means I need to somehow record that. How do I do that? Am I going to give these a sort of a flash of some sort, and I might try and remember it because I don't really want to pollute the fact I know those two add up to 10. So we're going to have to remember these two digits are the same, which means there's one of them up there. 5 in box 2 can't go on the line, can it? Oh, good grief. I've had a horrible feeling suddenly that this puzzle might all be about 5s. Because you can never, if you ever identify a domino on a line in this puzzle that adds up to 10, you can obviously never put 5 in it because you'd have to put another 5 in it. So 5 is in one of those two. Now actually here that might not be, well, we know there's a 5 on the line because we can't put a 5 in this domino. So there's a 5 on the line, it's one of 4 places. Yeah, okay. So there's a 5 on this line, which can't, we know there's a domino somewhere here that adds up to 10, and that's not got the 5 in it. So the 5 is in a 3-cell sum adding to 10 on this line. But we don't know, I don't think we know whether it's here or here. We always know that cell is part of, I'm going to highlight that. That cell is always part of the triomino on this line that adds up to 10. This adds up to 10. This, oh yeah, these two are the same. That's where we need to think about this, isn't it? So these two are the same. Oh no, I've broken. Oh no, I've broken it. Sorry, I have broken the puzzle. I don't know what I did wrong. But the problem is here, this square, this is another of these tetrominos that's got to add up to... Oh, right. No, this is beautiful. I haven't broken it. I haven't broken it. I haven't broken it. It's just Zetaman is a very clever chap. Right, let us think about this. This square here, how are we going to make this work on this line? This is the question. Now, because it's a 4-cell line, we've got two choices. Either all 4 cells on this line add up to 10, which I'd instantly disregarded from my brain, or it's 2 dominoes that add up to 10. Now, if it's 2 dominoes that add up to 10, these 2 cells add up to 10. But this cell being the same as this cell means that this cell would have had to be the counterpart. And this is why I thought I'd broken it. I thought that this digit and this digit. So let's use our 6 again. If that's 6 and that's 6, I was thinking that would be 4, but that was requiring this to be 4, and I was going to break the puzzle. But, what about the possibility that those 4 cells add up to 10? Now, ordinarily, if these were all in the same row, that would instantly be too ludicrous to even consider. But this is actually possible here, because these 2 digits aren't in the same box as this one, and indeed this one can repeat whatever goes in this. And this is, in fact, this is a 6, because even if we make that as high as 7, we've got to keep all 3 of these digits down to 1 in order to make the line add up to 10, and that's obviously you can't do that. That's not going to work. So this has to be 6. This has to be a 1-2 pair. And that has to be a 1. And this line does add up to 10. And I haven't broken the problem that I was going to have with this column now. So this is a 6. This is a 4. These two added up to 5. So that's a 1. So this is a 9. So now, yes, and I can't put 9. I can't put 9 in purple or orange, because if I do, I need to put the 1 in there. So that's a 5-9 pair in box 2. This 1 sees the 1-2 beneath it, so that's fixed. It's quite lovely, this, isn't it? It's just lovely. Not, I would say, not monstrously hard, but just interesting and elegant beyond belief. Right, so this domino now is not 1-9, it's not 4-6, so that's either 2-8 or 3-7. So let me just think about this. If this was 2-8, I'd have to put 3-7 on the line. Oh, no, right, no, I'm not thinking about this. I should do Sudoku when I have that opportunity. Where does 4 go in this box? Now 4 must be in this domino. So I want to study this domino carefully, because remember this line is divided up into a domino that adds up to 10 and a triomino that adds up to 10. Well, if this was the domino that adds up to 10, it would now have to be a 4-6 pair, because there is a 4 in this domino, and it can't be. So this must be part of the triomino, as must this. So that's a triomino. This is a domino, so it hasn't got a 5 in it. And this must be 1, 4, 5. And this must be, oh, whatever this isn't. So this is 2, 3, 7 or 8. That's not a 1. Which don't know what that does. Now that's not a 4. So we've got a 1 or a 5 in the corner. Oh, look, we've got a 2, 3, 7, 8 quadruple in row 1. These cells all have to be selected from 2, 3, 7 and 8. So the rest of this row needs to be from, what's that going to be, 1, 5, 6 and 9 into those cells. I will just put that in. It's slightly overzealous on the pencil marking. Oh. And is that, I think the logic we did on this L pentomino is, I think, standalone, and in the sense it would apply for this pentomino too. So this pentomino needs to be able to be split up into a domino and a triomino. Oh, but I think it... I'm not sure I know which way round it splits yet. So we've just got to bear that in mind for this one. 1 has to go in one of these 3 cells. And that means what? That means we've got this diamond shape in the middle. I feel like, oh, the diamond shape isn't a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple anymore, because we've got 1 and 2 in the box. So the diamond shape is also split upable into funny dominoes, isn't it? So we've got, oh, yeah, okay. So we know what's on this diamond, because it's split up into dominoes that add up to 10, and it can't have 1, 9 or 2, 8 on it. This must be 3, 7 and 4, 6, and we know that the 6s are not vertical. So that means that we know the 6 is horizontal, and the 6 is going to have to be adjacent to the 4, so we know the 4 is vertical. So there's no 4 horizontal anymore, and we could have got rid of the 4 from there anyway, but that was a more elegant way to do it. And that means that something else we can do. So now these 3 remaining cells have to be 5s, 8s and 9s, don't they? And maybe this line is the line we're meant. Yeah, look, that looks like it might be 9, 1, perhaps. Let me just think about this. I haven't quite got my head around where this is going now. So one of these is 6, 4. The other one is 3, 7. It looks like there's sort of the bones of a quadruple in this column as well, doesn't it? But I don't think that that's quite right. So if that's 8, this has to be 2. If this is 5, this has to be... Oh. Ooh. Okay, 5 is very awkward here. And I say that because this is so strange to look at 4-cell sequences and think that they could add up to 10 even though one of the digits is a 5. But if this is a 5, because these 3 digits don't all have to be different from one another, you can make them all add up to 5, although can you? 3, 1, 1 it would have to be. No, that might be possible. How annoying. Okay, now I am stuck. So we're going to have to think harder. What about this domino there? Or not domino, what about this tetromino? So this tetromino, can it add up to 10? That's the question I'm asking myself. If it added up to 10, it would have to be a 1 here and a 2, 3, 4 triple there. And that would break this. That would force those to be 7, 8 only. So this does not add up to 10, so this is dominoed. Okay, so if it's dominoed, we can domino it like this. Right, so this... right, so this doesn't have 5 on it anymore, because if it had 5 on it, it would have to have double 5 on it, because it's dominoed. And if it doesn't have 5 on it, you can place 5 in box 5 now. Because if you put 5 in those two squares, the 5 in column 6 has to be down here where it cannot be. Yeah, so there's a few ways of thinking about this, but one way of thinking about it might just be to look at column 6 and say, where is the 5? Given it can't be down here, it must be only there. Which means these two squares have become an 8-9 pair, which means 9 is now... this is lovely. Right, so that means 9 is now down here in a domino, which adds up to 10, which means 1 must be with it on the domino. Well, you can't put a 1 in any of these 3 squares. So that must be 1, that must be 9, which means... Well, surely that means I've just removed the ability of this line to add up. Yeah, I have. I've now removed the ability of this diagonal line to add up to 10, because I can't put 1 into any of those 3 cells anymore. So that means this must be dominoable, is I think the correct adjective. And if it's dominoable, that square's also got to be a 5, I want to say. Let me just double check this. So if we've got to make a sequence add up to 10. Yeah, there's no way the whole line adds up to 10. So we must be looking at 2 cells adding up to 10. So it must be those 2, which means that's 5, that's 9, that's 9, that's 8. Which means this isn't 8, which means this isn't 2. And I'm sure this is in some way extremely useful. Let me just think about this. So these 2 squares now add up to 10. Oh, 4. 4. Because of the logic I did on 6s, 4 is vertical here. So 4 is in that domino. So that's a 4-6 domino, which means that's not 6. Which means this is 3-7. Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. Right, this is a 3 or a 7, so that yellow domino can't be a 3-7 domino because it will break this. So that's got to be a 2-8 domino, which means this is a 3-7 domino at the top. So that's 3-7. So that one... Oh, so where does 3-7 domino go in box 1? It's got to go there, which means this one has got to be a 2-8 domino. Oh, we could have done that by uniqueness. Look, we could have... Yeah, this couldn't have been a 2-8 domino because that would have been a 2-8 domino as well, and there would be nothing in the internal logic of the puzzle to differentiate the 2 and the 8s going this way round or that way round. Oh, look, I've got a 3-4-7 triple in this column, so that cell's got to be a 2. So now, what on earth are the options for this, the rest of this line? These 2 squares have to add up to 10. So we're looking at this square could be 3, 7, or 8, I want to say. Well, yeah, in fact, let's just fill this in. 378, 378. That's the simple way to do that. Oh, no, I'm wrong. No, I'm right. I am right. The point is this digit is now available. That's the thing I've been missing. So look at this box. I was thinking this is why I was slow to this. I was focusing on this column, and then I started to look at this box, and I was like, well, I've got 6 digits here. So how do I not know what these are? And I do. These are 378. So that is 6, which must be next to 4, which still doesn't help me. So these 3 squares are 3, 7 and 8, but I know those 2 squares also add up to 10. So this is either 2 or 3 or 7. And that's very annoying. There's something nagging me about this. We've got... Yeah, okay. The simple way to think about this is how can this domino, how could that add up to 10? If that adds up to 10, and these 2 add up to 10, the implication is those 2 digits are the same number. If these add up to 10, let's make this 3, and that's 7, and that has to be 7. You just get a repeated digit, so that doesn't work. So this is not a 3-7 pair, which means there is an 8 in one of those 2 cells, which means that's not 8. Okay, this is the world's most useless deduction. Sorry. This is a 3 or a 7 now. Now, do I know the nature of this line? The answer is, unfortunately, not. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, I think. We'll put a 4 down here. No, okay, I'm getting stuck now. We've got 1 on this line. Now, is this... Do we know this isn't a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple? Oh! No, it is! This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. Because what am I going to do? If this isn't a quadruple adding to 10, it's 2 dominoes adding to 10. And that would require the 1 to accompany a 9, which it can't do. So this needs to be... Oh, no. I was about to say it could be 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, but that's not true because this digit here can repeat on the line. So it doesn't have... These don't all have to be different digits. This is really clever. Oh, good grief. And now I don't know. Oh, although I've got a 1, 4, 5. Hang on, what is going on here then? If this is 1, 4, 5, and we know this line adds up to 10, I almost want this to be a 2, 3 here and a 1, 4 here, because that would work. But I don't think it's forced. Okay, we can say these 3 digits themselves would add up to at least 6, even if I make them 1, 2, and 3. So how can this digit not be a 2 or a 3? It can't be. If it's not 2 or 3, it has to rise up to 6 at least, because 1, 4, 5 isn't available, and that's impossible. So this square is a 2 or a 3, which means these 3 squares are either adding up to 7, in which case they are 1, 2, 4, and that would be the 2, and this would be a 1, 4 pair, and that's the option where we have all different digits. Or they add up to 8, with this being a 2, and these adding up to 8, which couldn't be 1, 2, 5, so it would have to be 1, 3, 4. Oh, so yeah, so it still works. That's really lovely. This one is a combination of the fact that this is 1, 4, 5 and this 5. You can't put 5 on the line. So actually, once this becomes 2 or 3, it's forced to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, and we get a 1, 4 pair here. And that means that that square's got to be the 4, which means this is the sort of diagonal 3, 7 domino, which might be helpful. Yeah, oh no. Okay, it's just the corollary of having a 3, 7 pair here. So 4 is in one of these 2 squares in box 6. And Ah, now I know the nature of this line again. Because this line is now not capable of being a 3 here and then a 1, 2, 4 triple there. Because if that was the case, this cell would have no value. That's beautiful. Look, if that's 3, in order to make this add up to 10, we'd have to make these 3 add up to 7. They'd have to be 1, 2, 4, and then this cell's got no value. It can't be 3, and it can't be 2. So this is wrong. Well, it means that this is dominoed. It means those 2 squares add up to 10, and I'm going to colour them because I want to. These add up to 10, and I'm going to colour them. I'm going to colour them grey. Oh, grey does work. I was worried that grey was just going to disappear. But this must be a 3 or a 7, therefore, which means that this square is a 2, which means this square is a 3, which means that square's a 3, that square's a 7, which means there's a 3 up here. It means we now know these 3 digits. These have got to be 2, 6, and 8, I want to say, which is a bit... Oh no, oh no, it's okay. Right, it's okay. I was about to say, well, surely this has to be a 2-8 pair. But then I suddenly thought, well, that could be a 2-6 with a 2 here, and those 3 would add up to 10, except there is a 2 there, preventing that. So the only way this can work is if this is a 2-8 pair, which means that's a 6. That's a 2-8 pair, which means these 3 digits now must add up to 10. And they don't include a 2. So they're not 1, 2, 7. They could be 1, 3, 6 or 1, 4, 5. So there's, yeah, are we convinced there's a 1? Yes, there must be a 1 if there's no 2 on there. So the 1 is in one of those 2 cells. That could be a 5 with a 1, 4 pair. Or this is a 3 with a 1, 6 pair. So this square here is either 3 or 5, is what I want to say. And that doesn't do anything. 7. Oh, I've got a... Yeah, this is important. This has become a 3 or a 7 because of this 2. But we know that domino adds up to 10, so that's not 8 anymore. So this is 8 at the bottom of the grid. Oh, and that doesn't deserve to be coloured because this is the point. We were saying these can't add up to 10. That was my example of showing why these can't add up to 10. But that is certainly not a coloured domino. Sorry if that's been confusing anyone. Now what? So now this column needs only high digits in it. So these cells here have got to be 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that one can't be 6 or 8 because of the 6, 8 here. And this one can't be 8 or 9 or 7 because there's a 2, 3, 7 in the box. So that's 6. Oh, so 6 is getting closer to being pushed onto... Oh, is it getting closer? I think it is getting closer to being pushed onto this line up here. This domino is a 10 domino. It's not 2, 8 or 4, 6 or 3, 7. So that's... this is a 1, 9 pair. Oh, that's big. That's big because that's disambiguating the 4 and the 1 above it. It's locking 9 out of this cell. Oh, and look, 7 can also come out of there. So that's 8. This is a 7, 9 pair. Those 2 squares have got to be a 4, 5 pair, which this 4 disambiguates. Oh, it's cracking, isn't it? Come on. Yes, the 4 is giving us a 4 here and a 6 here. Oh no, 6 is nearly on the line, but it's in one of 2 places. Not quite forced onto the line yet. There's a 4 down here. Oh, the one that's in one of those 2 cells. Yes, and that was forced by the fact we knew these 3 cells added up to 10. Is disambiguating the 9 and the 1 over there. Which means 9 is in this domino. and 6 and 8 have to be a pair there by sudoku. I haven't done that. I'm avoiding sudoku as much as possible. So that's 8, that's 2. And now those two squares have to be a 2-5 combination, and that's resolved. So that's 2, that's 5. So this is 4, 7 and 9 on the right hand side of row 5. And that's not 9 anymore, because if it's 9 it would have to go with 1, and there's the 1 already in the column. So this is 5 or 6. That's not 6. Now if this is 5 it would have to be a triomino. If this is 6 this could be a 4, or it could be a 1-3. Oh no, it can't be a 1-3 pair. Oh no, so if it's 6 it goes with 4 beneath it. If it's 5 it's got to have 2-3 beneath it. Although that would break that square. So I feel like this is forced to be a 6-4 domino. But I'm not 100% sure about that. That would force a 2-3-5 triple along there and be absolutely earth-shattering in terms of finishing the puzzle. Let me just see if I can do that a different way. 1, 6, 8 along here. I know the 1 is... Yeah, you can't put 8 on this line, surely. Yeah, okay. Where does the 8 go in this string of digits? It can't go on the line because I know those 3 cells add up to 10. So 8 goes there, which means that's a 1 and that's a 6. Which means that isn't 1. So, oh, look. Oh, 6. 6 is pushed up into the corner. Yes, and this is simplified, how this line works now. So before I was sort of having to do case analysis on this triple. Whereas now, I think it's clearer. This can't be a triple because we've got 6, 1, 3 ruled out. So we can't make those 3 squares add up to 10. So it must be 6, 4 like that, which means that's a 4. Which means that's a 5 in the corner, and that's a 1. Which means these 3 squares must be the triomino adding up to 10, and they don't include a 1, so that's got to be 2, 3, 5. And now that's fixing the 2 and the 8 here. It's fixing the 3 and the 7 here. It's giving us something in these 2 squares, which I should be able to just write in, 7 and 8. Oh, which doesn't resolve it, but now we know there's a 9 in the corner up here, along with a 1, which places 9 in box 9, which means neither of those is 9, so that means that's 9, that's 7, and these 3 squares are now known to us. They've got to be 3, 5, and 9, and we know the 9 goes there. So 9, 3, 5. This being 6, 1 requires that to be 3 to add up to 10. That finishes our 3 7s. Don't misclick. 3 7s. That's got to be a 5. That finishes the 5 and the 3. That's a 2 therefore. That's the 5. That's a 3. And we need 2, 4, 7 at the bottom, which is presumably resolved somehow. Oh, this 8 is doing everything. 8, 2, 8, 7, 7, 4, 4, 2, 7, 7, 3, tick. Yay! Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant as usual from Zeta Math. That's so interesting as a puzzle. That I actually think that's got legs. You could do this. Presumably you could do it with other totals other than 10, but I think that the fact that the 10 is very nice as a choice of sum, because it allows us to do logic with the 5s, which can't be on the line unless they're in a triomino. And there's all sorts of geometric tricks you can do with the secret. And here, what was my favourite bit? I really loved this digit being the same as that one. And then I loved the fact that actually this digit was not a pair with this one, because that was so counterintuitive. I thought I'd broken the puzzle. And then I really quite liked this little domino trick. It didn't seem to do very much, But the fact that that domino couldn't add up to 10, because then these two cells would be the same, was very pretty indeed. It's a lovely puzzle. Let me know how you got on in the comments. I do enjoy reading them, especially when they're kind. So were there 10 lines or 11? Well, that is a philosophical question that we should all meditate upon. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.